I was looking at everybody at the gym. I was like, man, if only you guys knew. The reason why I'm making shit ton of money so that I don't have to give a fuck about whatever. Like, I don't want money controlling my life.
So for somebody who is just starting, like they're like, oh, I'm trying to make money online. Like, what's some practical advice? Like, be honest. Where do you think that they should begin? All right. So we got Serge Gatari here. You guys probably watching don't necessarily know him too well. Maybe you do. I mean, you're big in the agency game. And
Yeah.
today we're going to be bridging the gap a bit between e-commerce and agencies just to see, brainstorm ideas to help people make money, help people in general build their skill set. So Serge, if you wouldn't mind, would you give yourself an introduction here?
Yeah, 100%.
Sweet.
So in 2019, I started getting into the online space, just trying to figure out a way to make money online. And the first thing that I ever bought was kind of like an Amazon dropshipping, like Amazon FBA course from Dan Voss. I think that's how you call his name. Yeah. So I bought his first course. It was the first thing I've ever spent money on. It was like $700. I was like, holy shit, this is a lot of money. And that didn't end up. I didn't end up necessarily moving forward with that because it required some capital. I didn't have the money to invest. So I ended up just being like, okay, cool. Then it led me into drop shipping. So I started consuming a lot of content when it comes to drop shipping. Ended up buying a few courses too. And drop shipping, never really worked out for me. I did actually sell like 2 products, and I made it was like $29 at the gym. I was like, holy shit. It's done. It's over with. I mean, I was looking at everybody at the gym. I was like, man, if only you guys knew. Because making a sale, making a money without really working, like that first $29 felt like $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I was like, I didn't have the balls to keep spending money on ads. So I was like, okay, fine. Let me try something else. And then I got into the agency space. Literally in 3 months, I went from Amazon drop shipping to agency. Because I was just on a roll of figuring out how I can make money online. And then I got into the agency space. I also struggled there a lot. I was going through courses, becoming smarter and everything, but I was struggling a lot with getting clients for my own business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I ended up doing is I ended up going into, more on the outbound B2B side of things, like how to actually business dev happen for people who are, trying to acquire high ticket clients. And I got pretty good at, just building out sales processes or understanding it. So what I decided to do was like, oh shit, I just got a client for my own agency from doing this, from leveraging VAs and from doing outreach. I was like, what if instead of running an advertising agency, I just built up an appointment setting agency for other service providers who want more clients. And in 2021, that's when it picked off. And then I started, making money online.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's crazy. You basically solved your own problem and turned it into a business.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And now, has spawned off into other services, kind of going higher and higher tiers. And I know I saw in a YouTube video, you did like 600K in a month. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know how we did it, but yeah, we did end up scaling it. Because the way that we do it is I went from just being just an appointment setting agency to solving other problems that the companies that we were working with were facing. So most traditional businesses traditional agencies, they just become good at one thing. So let's say you're good at media buying, you'll solve only media buying problems. If you're an appointment setter, you'll solve only appointment setting problems. But the issue is the leverage of this skill set is always dependent on the quality of the thing that people are selling. So I saw this issue where I would do a lot of work, but some clients wouldn't literally see any results. So what I decided to do is I'm not going to make any money if I just keep delivering shit that just don't get them the outcome. So I was like, let me solve other problems. So ended up pivoting to more of a program model where we would either solve your offer, like build you better, like either improve your current offer or build you a new thing for you to sell, and then attach an acquisition infrastructure to your business. And that's where we deliver more value, so we charged higher ticket.
That's so interesting, man. I love that. So my big question now is how would you I mean, this may be simple for you, but how would you define appointment setting, for the people watching that? Because that sounds like that was a pivotal moment, like the appointment setting part of it. How would somebody get started in that, or just what is it as a whole?
I think for me, appointment setting is literally, so you know how, maybe I'll kind of like use your world to kind of explain it. Normally, you would, if you want someone to buy a product, you would put up an ad, and then that ad would have specific message that either, talks to someone's pain point or talks to someone's desires and tells them that, hey, this can solve the pain you have. And then the person would click, right? So now in the B2B space, so e-com is B2C, you're selling to consumers. In B2B space, you're selling to other businesses. Now, you can do the same thing, put up an ad and do that, but not everyone has money to allocate to scaling through ads. Well, you can do the same activity, but as a human. You get people's attention, you talk to their pain point, you educate them on how you can solve their problem, and instead of getting them to click and go buy a product, instead you get them to click and book a call with a business that has something, that has a product or a service that can solve their problem. So appointment setting is really simple. Get people's attention, get ideal clients, and an ideal group of people to book a call with for an offer that you're working for, that you're trying to sell.
Awesome. So that's a very good, simple way to look at it, because when you define it like that, I can think of a million ways in which it could be helpful. For example, even for like an affiliate offer, let's say, if you can get in front of people and like book a call for an affiliate opportunity, that could go really, really crazy. And I actually just thought about another idea that I want to bring up to you as you were mentioning that. For example, so we run paid media for companies at our agency, but we also have our own internal projects that we kind of solved our own problem as well, of like good media buyers that can grow a business. We use it ourselves too. And something that's been really cool lately is having a chat on the store. Very simple, just Shopify Inbox. It's an app that Shopify developed, and you can chat with the people on your store 24/7.
Wow.
Having an appointment setter working that chat would be
that would be crazy.
That would be
imagine the conversion rate on the products if you had a salesperson.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that would be crazy. That's a good idea for an agency too.
Yeah.
Like,
you build it. We literally go to e-com and like, hey, we'll build you kind of like a chat, and then we'll also train the setter on how to close for your products. Hey, maybe you just charge like 5-10 grand for it, and you go sell it like 20-30 brands a month.
That would be insane. I might have to take that one myself, honestly.
You better.
That's a great idea. But I just love how, just that one skill set is so applicable to so many different things. What would you say are some good ways that people can, I mean, aside from watching your content and everything, start learning about this? Like, what are some good tips?
So I think when it comes to appointment setting, rule number one is you got to go deep in psychology. So in psychology, you can, go either from, I think if you understand ads, you definitely can easily become an appointment setter. The only thing is appointment setting requires a lot more energy than just an ad to buy a product. So the bigger the ticket price, the more someone has to be educated to make sense of buying. So it's almost like so normally if you put an ad, like, it won't really take hours and hours for someone to decide if they're going to click and buy. But for appointment setting, it's almost like you got to create sales assets that create the desire and that push the person to really wanting to book a call. So for me, a lot of the things that I went deep on is, one, psychology, just understanding how long a sales cycle is, understanding how to make someone want something. Like, one of the biggest thing is creating beliefs, right? So being able to, I'll use religion as an example. Religions don't necessarily ask you, hey, they don't necessarily knock at your door and be like, hey, become a believer, right? But they tell stories to convert your parents, their parents, and also make sure that these stories are so deep. One second, someone is calling me. That, like, these stories are so deep that they rule, they kind of like they make up they make up your world. They're like the foundation of how you live. So now appointment setting, if you become really good, is don't try to force people to do things. Instead, how about you create the beliefs that make up how they should behave? So you almost like you become you create the belief that runs their decision making process. So as an example, let's say the people will be watching this video, right? And let's say if I wanted to sell people into becoming appointment sitters, which we don't really do that, I would be like, hey, you can either, I would either be like, hey, here's why you should become an appointment sitter. You can start making 5, 10K a month, or if you make it into a business, you can start earning 50 grand, 100 grand a month, right? Most people will be like, hey, we'll pitch the money, right? But instead, for me, one second, Jesus Christ, this person keeps calling. But instead, what I would focus on is, I would ask myself, what is something that someone would need to believe in order to know that appointment sitting is the way to go, right? So I would find a few set of beliefs, and I would focus on making sure that they believe that thing instead of necessarily trying to sell them the actual thing. So when you're becoming an appointment setter, your goal is you need to figure out a way to make someone's offer become the thing that the person believes they want, right?
Yeah.
So you're not really selling. You're kind of like bringing a new way of seeing the world and of seeing how to solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So someone may be either selling appointment sitters, another person may be selling paid ads. Well, the person who's going to win is the person who makes that person believe that either appointment setting is the way to go or paid ads is the way to go, right?
Yeah, the belief system is like, I mean, I love that you touch on that, because this, like you said earlier, helps with your ads, helps with, let's say landing pages, anything, like understanding that the foundation on which you're going to kind of build your business on, which really is like the beliefs that the customer thinks about the business. It's like Apple, for example, like, I mean, even with their new Visions Pro, like, oh my God, these guys are just insane.
Crazy.
Understand it to a T.
Right?
They're setting the example.
Yeah. But there's also a bunch of people now pushing appointment sitters programs. I've created this thing called growthspecialist.io, which is kind of like me sharing everything we've learned around appointment setting, but I'm actually going to be giving it away for free. So if someone ever needs to go deep, I know your audience is a bit different, but yeah, appointment setting is definitely, because there's a lot of high ticket businesses. Let's say even you right now, like, I don't know if do you have a program that you sell for you?
We have it is sort of a program. It's called Akemi. So my agency is called Akemi, and then Akemi Lab is our program. So it's a bunch of case studies, community research that we do, bunch of cool stuff like that.
Yeah. So as an example for you, let's say you increase the price of this program, maybe make it 10 grand or 15 grand, and now you make an actual solution to people's problems. Well, you can mention it on your YouTube channel, you can post it on your Instagram, but the thing that's really going to push sales is forcing your way into people's lives and being like, hey, are you struggling with this thing? I can actually show you how to solve it. But that transition from someone not maybe knowing you, but not really making a decision to book a call with you, can be solved with an appointment sitter. And with your brand size, bro, you could be making a killing just with your audience, solving their problems, right?
Yeah. I can also think of even like high ticket products for e-commerce. I mean, like these tubs, for example, I do a lot of case studies on YouTube where I explore these businesses. There's one that sells a cold tub for like 5K that scaled to like 2 million a month, like really fast. I can imagine someone with an appointment setting skill set would print on a business like that.
That's crazy. I never thought of high ticket products, but yeah, that would be a good thing to set for.
Yeah, I always look at random things like that. Like, for example, I saw some like farming machinery, like random shit like that that's like super high ticket that I'm like, man, nobody's thinking of like disrupting this and like just selling this direct to consumer. But I feel like if you had the right skill set to actually sell something like that, like you're really just connecting the supplier to the people, like I don't know, it sounds kind of powerful.
Yeah, quick question. Before I used to be a lot more, keeping up with e-com, but has it become harder to sell. I mean, and of course it depends in the competition in each niche, but have people started pushing a lot more content, like more almost like educational style content first to bring awareness and then sell? Or are people still really heavily into direct response, meaning, oh, I'll put a discount and I'll push this and then you buy? Like,
it's actually a bit of both. But to be fair, like even when I start to think about it, because I was gonna say yes, I've seen a lot of people pushing, for example, offers to a blog article, a listicle, you know, where you're kind of telling a story about a customer and how this thing solved their problem, etc. I've seen a lot of that in like scaling really, really massively. But at the same time, I see just normal direct response marketing also killing it. And when I think back even like years ago, I had already seen people doing advertorial style stuff. So I don't really think much has changed too much. They both work quite well. I do think people just lack like basic skills, like what you're saying, like, you know, benefit, like selling the benefits to people, for example, finding actual problems that require solving as opposed to just really random stuff. Design, like people have terrible design skills, even though like basic things work, but just keep it clean and congruent. Little things like that.
Because the reason why I asked is because for me, I'm in more of an high ticket service space, and I'm like, the amount of margins you can create and even how much you charge on an educated customer or prospect or client versus just like, hey, here's a product, buy it. Like the margins are infinitely more. So it's like, for me, if I was to get into e-com, I would figure out a way to sell a product that solves a pain for sure. And I would just run ads to get people aware, because I know awareness engagement ads are cheaper, right? I'll go crazy on that, educate, just get as much views as I can. And then retarget these people, either put them in a community. I think putting people, an audience into a community is super important. And just get maybe someone to keep engaging and just retarget the rest with an offer. Because for me, I mean, I'm literally like selling someone I haven't shown what we do first, or who doesn't know what we do, is pointless.
Right. No, that makes so much sense. And I mean, a way that I've seen, or an idea, for example, for people would be, like you said, educate, for example, let's say on a beauty brand, right? Creating a beauty brand group and then hiring like somebody that can constantly engage and give tips within that group, growing that group. And then instead of selling, let's say like, I don't know, some sort of skincare product, you could instead sell the skincare lotion, the steamer, an ebook about like 10 tips, blah, blah, like just package all this value into this one offer. But yeah, people are not really thinking like that. I think the people that can think a little bit outside the box like that are gonna make millions in the next few years, like 8 figures, maybe even 9 figures, honestly.
Because I think you need to transition from just trying to make a quick buck to building something sustainable. And to build something sustainable, you can't keep just running ads every time. You almost gotta own the attention instead of having Facebook own it every time, you know?
No, that's a great point. And I mean, the way I look at paid media is more so an amplification tool. It's more so about really, but what's great about it is, at least on Meta, for example, like the machine learning is insane. So you can not only get awareness, but also sales. So you can literally grow your business as you get more awareness.
As you make money,
It's so powerful. But people are not taking advantage of communities. People are not taking advantage of organic content. I mean, some people are, but they think it's one or the other. They can't think how it could possibly be both.
No.
People are very narrow-minded like that. But even with this interview that we're doing now, that was my goal, is like to be able to help people like be slightly less narrow-minded and see how these skills can apply to different things.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good stuff. I love it.
Yeah. So I want to know one thing now is how really, so the process for you to make businesses, it seems to literally be as simple as I have this problem, or I see this problem.
Yeah.
I'm just going to create a solution, like just with straight up like manpower and maybe a little bit of software. Is that how you brainstorm ideas for businesses, or how do you come up with these things?
Uh, I spend a lot of time learning though, you know, like I spend a lot of time getting inputs. I don't, I think the biggest mistake most people would make is they try to sit down and try to wait for a business idea. I think that's the wrong way to do it. I think you got to start with the market first, meaning, and you know, you said something at first, is like, I solved a problem for myself, then I sold it, right? Most people try to go through a course and then they think that they're going to make millions from selling the skill that the course teaches them. But learning a skill without understanding why the skill is even important, I don't see the purpose in acquiring a skill if you don't also like compare the value delivered by implementing the skill in someone's life so you solve their problem, right? So for me, I try to find, hey, what's the pain? What is the pain? I literally will go on YouTube, go, let's say, on an influencer's page, look at their most popular video and look at the topic and be like, if people are interested in this topic, probably means that there is something here. So I let the people tell me what they want. The reason why I solve appointment setting is because if you were to get in this, I mean, you run an agency, so you know the importance of generating appointments, but you also get traffic organically, so maybe not as much. But imagine being an agency owner or a high-ticket consultant or coach, and you don't know ways to get people on a call buying your service. Like, imagine how much, I mean, the pain you feel is crazy.
Right.
So I start with that. I don't necessarily sit down and be like, okay, what should I become a closer? Should I become a paid media buyer? No, I'm like, what is the thing that people want to solve? And then I'll go find the people who have solved it the best. Then I'll acquire that skill, learn from them, and then I'll go build a business around it. So it's almost like start with what is the thing that people are interested in solving? Go find someone who solved it, because almost 100% of the time people have solved the thing. And your job is to just duplicate this and then create a fulfillment model that can actually serve a lot of people with that insight, right?
And that's scalable and like provides a quality service. Otherwise, it's just gonna break.
Otherwise, 100%. And quality is super important. Like being able to deliver the result that you promise is super important. And that's why, for me, I've kind of like tried to do my best to try to stay away from just selling information, because information does not guarantee results. And that's why most people sell information. They'll sell it for 1, 2, 3 years, maybe max 4 years, and then they're out. They can't really sell anymore because they've sold hundreds of thousands of people and no one has necessarily gotten the results they were promised. So then their brand is a bit tarnished, so they can't sell anymore. So for me, I try to really like, I'll do a lot of work for you, so that even if you were to fail, at least you're not going to blame me that I didn't do the work, right? It's not like I just give you just like, oh, this is the information, go implement yourself. No, we actually try to do implementation for you, so we make it more inevitable for you not to win, right?
That's awesome. And how are you thinking when it comes to software then? Because that's kind of the big elephant in the room nowadays. It feels like everyone's like talking about software and how everyone's moving into this model.
Yeah.
What do you think about software now?
To be honest, I think it's just people selling shovels. Like, it's not like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, software this, software that, but it's like, for you building a software, it makes sense. You have an audience. But for me, when I see guys trying to push people into software companies, I'm like, are you like, what are you haven't run a business, you haven't solved the problem done for you. Why would you create a software exactly? Like, what is the software automating? Something you've never done? Something you haven't sold? Like, for me, it's of course the people selling the model will make a ton shit of money, but the people getting into software is a waste of time. It's a waste of money, especially if it's your first business, because it costs a lot of money, costs a lot of time. Even myself in my position, I actually keep myself from being drawn into this SaaS. Oh, you're going to get recurring revenue. I'm like, the cost to go into SaaS fully, well, first of all, the opportunity cost is ridiculous, because now I have to stop doing what I'm doing. Even if I try to tell myself that, like, oh, I can still do it on the side, spend a few hours a week or hire people to do it, it's still going to take up bandwidth in my mind. And what's that bandwidth worth if I actually focus it on my business? It's millions of dollars. Is that SaaS really going to make me millions? If it was, So for me personally, if I didn't have a brand or an audience, I would not go SaaS.
That's powerful. I like how you mentioned how you approach it and the bandwidth, because, and even the time, bro, like, it's like, the way I see it is like, I've built all this momentum. Why would you pivot your momentum into something totally new that's going to cost you a ton of money? I feel that 100%. I think that's great advice. Yeah. So let me ask you, pivot a little bit here to something a bit random, but I think some people may find some value in it.
Yeah.
What does your daily routine look like, bro? You know, you're making a lot of money, you're successful, you're young. Like, what is it? You know, you got the penthouse view. What does your daily routine look like?
Yeah. So funny enough, before it started, my business started getting traction, I used to have a morning routine, right? Where I would wake up, maybe write my goals down, and then I would go in a dark room, and then I would meditate. And then meditation did help. I would even go for a walk, listen to a podcast. But today, I try to go to bed at the same time, right? So just midnight 30, 1 a.m., I'll go to bed, right? Wake up maybe around 8. I don't like to sacrifice my sleep. I think sleep is the most important thing you can do if you want to actually be a performer. When I wake up, I'll go straight to my computer and I start writing. I don't try to look at social media. I actually hate checking my phone first thing in the morning, because it almost throws me into a state of mind where I'm not abundant. I'm not creating because I love, see, the thing is, and I want to talk about this phone thing because it's super important. First thing in the morning, you should not let the outside world control your inner state, because as much as people don't necessarily see it you don't necessarily see the impact that a phone or notification gives you, but as soon as you get that notification, even if it's good news, it's either going to psych up your dopamine and you're going to feel good. But if you also see something that's negative, it's also going to piss you off. In both those states, you're not going to create from a place of where you really get in the zone. So for me, I try to not check my phone. I try to not check even what's going on in my team channels and client channels. I'll simply just start writing. And the reason why I like writing at first thing in the morning is because, and creating it just allows me to go into places where I would not normally get into if I'm in a busy day, a bunch of calls back to back. So first 2 hours of my day is just creating. I like to say that I actually put out a tweet the other day where it's like, my routine is really simple. First thing in the morning is, what problem can I solve? And how can I solve it? I document it and then I distribute it. Every single day, my rule number 1 is get people's attention. I need people's attention. I need to give them something valuable. They pay it attention. And then my team is going to take care of this attention. We're going to convert it into something. Either we can help you solve your problems or this and that. But my morning routine is just wake up, create, and give something to the world. Don't just get busy, because people have a tendency to get busy and do the busy work, the tasks and things like that. That's not going to change. That's not going to make you wealthy. It's not. And then after that, I'll probably jump on a call 2 hours later with my team, like my appointment setting team. And then after that, I'll maybe have another chat, maybe make sure the team is working on the right things. And after that, I'll either go get breakfast. I don't like to eat first thing in the morning, and then I'll listen to a podcast. Then I'll start learning too, getting more inputs in. And after that, either I'll have calls like these. I don't necessarily take a lot of calls anymore, or I'll just start working on something, on a new product or new content, new strategy for our clients.
And then you go to bed at the same time every night. That's kind of like your most important thing in terms of the routine and the content creation.
Yeah. So go to sleep at the same time. Wake up. Don't check your phone. Give yourself to the world. Just create stuff. And then for sure, make sure the team is working on the right things. Or if you're maybe not in my position where you have team members that you're paying every month, maybe you need to figure out what is that one activity that, so as an example, I said create, but for other people, let's say who are running brands, it may be optimize the ads, or it might be write new copy, or it might be find new products, right? If you're an agency owner, it might be just do outreach or create content and send it to prospects so you can convert them faster. But first thing in the morning, just work on the most important task And then after that, just do management stuff and or learn.
That's great. I really like how you put it in terms of like, give yourself to the world right away before you get all this stuff coming at you, because I feel like you do make your own reality. And I feel like when you wake up, it's like when you're, you know, you just rested, you know, so you kind of got rid of all that stuff from the day before.
100%.
Done. So now, like, I agree with you, man. Just refresh, give yourself to the world, like create, instead of, you know, taking the world's inputs,
run you.
Yeah, let the world run you.
I can curse, but like I like to say, like, don't be the world's little bitch.
Hell yeah.
Right? Cause bro, like, I don't know, most people don't get it, but like, and I want to repeat this again. All these social medias, all these inputs that you're getting every day, scrolling, people's stories, all this stuff, it impacts you to a level that you don't, it's not on a conscious level where you see how it's impacting you. The reason why Meta is has created trillions of value, or these Google platforms or Snapchat or TikTok, you don't create that much amount of worth if you don't control something that is probably the most important thing, and that is our attention. Now, these guys have probably spent billions of dollars on engineers trying to figure out, like, how can we control people? How can we give them the thing that they want so much that they actually become addicted to it, to always want to go back to it, right? Always want to go back to it. Now, this literally becomes like a crutch, because if you don't check your social media, you feel like you need something. You feel like you're literally like a drug addict. So for me, I'm on social media every day, but I'd rather produce than consume. So that's kind of like my logic behind it. So I kind of control my consumption.
That's great. I mean, I think that's just a very practical piece of value that I think more people should take into account. Especially, I get it, because I mean, we're both content creators as well. Yeah. So I think I can resonate with what you're saying, like 100,000,000%. And like, I try to do the same exact things, and it's easy for me now. But for someone that's like getting started, I feel like they have a higher propensity to want to consume for the sake of learning. But I think putting it into action and creating, even if you're just starting, is insanely valuable.
Super important. Super important. Yeah.
So now you told me you're in Montreal, Canada.
Yeah.
Is that where you've been based for a while, or what are you doing there?
Yeah. I was born in Rwanda. So born.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. And then I moved to Montreal, Canada at 13. So I spent most of my life in Africa, actually.
Wow.
So at least half of my life. And then yeah, I've been here for the last decade, 11 years, 12 years. And I haven't moved. I mean, I've visited places, but I like being here because there's not much going on, and it's not really a big entrepreneur. Like, there's not crazy entrepreneurs here. If there are, they're in other, traditional businesses. So it makes me just be in my own little bubble and just do me, There's less distractions.
I love that. That's so similar to how my city is as well. And I moved here when I was 11, and actually I did move to Arizona for like a year, but I didn't like it. I felt the same way. I felt like it's just too many people being entrepreneurs, too many people I don't know. It just didn't feel the same as here. Here I feel more zen, more like focused. It's just much better for me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Think about Dubai and stuff like that. Like, everybody's moving there. You do that for taxes?
No, I don't see. Because, bro, like, if you figure out how to make money, like, taxes are not really gonna make you want to change where you live just to save. Like, okay, so let's say you make 30 million a year, right? And maybe you have $15 million in profit, and then maybe you have to pay 40% on that, right? So let's say you're left with like 8 million or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. You can cry about the remaining 7 mil or that just got taken away from you. And you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to get away so I can save 7 million, but then I'm not going to be where I want to be just for a few months of the year. I know you don't actually have to stay in Dubai for that long, but for me, my opinion, it's like the reason why I'm making shit ton of money so that I don't have to give a fuck about whatever. Like, I don't want money controlling my life. See, this is the mistake with most entrepreneurs. They start making money and optimizing making money becomes their life purpose. That's not my life purpose. I make money so I can use it. If the government wants to take half of it because they're also just running these schemes, okay, cool, brother. Like you created the rules, but I'm gonna play on your rules to also make sure that I can also, because I think there are plenty of loopholes that you can use to not necessarily have to pay a bunch of tax.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's not. My plan is I have nothing bringing me to Dubai. Like what's gonna bring, like, what, the sun? Cool. I can go somewhere else that's maybe better, less hot, less warm.
Yeah.
For this thing. But also culture-wise, I personally like to be in cities where it's like really diverse.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like my freedom. So, I don't know about Dubai. I mean, I think Dubai is really a strict country. So,
True.
what's that freedom worth, right? So it's like you have to figure out what your life is going to be. Like, money, of course, is good, but
not everything.
It's not everything, man.
Definitely
it's not everything. I don't want to live my life. For sure, maybe if I make 100 million, maybe I'll change my mind.
Yeah.
But for now, it's not that big of an issue yet.
That makes a ton of sense. I feel the same way for us in the US. I mean, Canada's the same thing probably, but Puerto Rico is kind of like the calling. It's a little bit similar to that. And that one to me seems a little more appealing because you're closer. But I feel the same exact way about not letting money dictate my decisions entirely. I mean, an extra 7 million in in this scenario that you said be a lot, but at the same time, you can just make more money, but you can't get time back, for example. You can't get memories back. And giving all that away for an extra little or decent bit of money isn't worth it either.
Yeah, it's like, it's much easier because it's the same amount of attention to try to figure out how to move to Dubai as it is to look at what your current business is doing and thinking about how to 10x it. Like, you're not going to use a different brain. It's the same fucking brain. It's the same brain that makes you 5 mil, 10 mil a year. And now, instead of going to create the value, you're trying to figure out how to conserve more. So it's like what's the leverage? Is the activity of trying to save money the leveraged activity, or is the production the more, like, what has the biggest ROI? Well, you can serve so much, but you can make infinite. Right. So it's like focus on the infinite side. Unless, again, depends also on how much money you're making, right? At some point it becomes a little tricky where it's like, maybe I could save 20 million by moving to Dubai. Cool. Okay, cool. Is it worth 20 million to move a few months out of the year? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's worth saving. Cool. Then move, right?
Right.
But for me, taxes, it is what it is. I'm trying to spend the money.
Yeah.
Spend on a team, trying to spend on penthouses so that, before the government takes my money, I'll give them. Yeah, I'll use it. I'll use it by the time they try to take it. I'll be like, okay, you guys can take the rest. I'm okay.
Yeah, that's really the loophole. The ultimate loophole is just spend your money, bro. Just spend it, your money, and then you can deduct it. I like that. And also the way I see it too is like, ultimately your business goal should always be to provide value. So let's say you do end up making a bit less money on it. By scaling your business, I mean, you'll still provide more value. So that's a net positive. So like, if you have that mindset, you can get to like 1 billion, and then like that 7 million you say is peanuts. Who cares?
Yeah. I think most people don't see it that way. They always see it as like, oh, if I'm not making money today, then I'm not making money, right? So people's timeline is so short that, okay, yeah, saving 7 million this year is good, is the right decision. But when you look back on 10 years, you're like, well, I don't actually have to move. I could just take half of that 7 mil, put it back into better team members, put it back into better infrastructure, put it back into branding. And then even though I'm spending money, let's say today I'm less profitable, this year I'm less profitable. Well, this new attention that you're going to acquire, this new team can now take you from maybe making 30 million or 15 million to maybe 60 million, right? So it's like, do you want to save 5 mil or do you want to save 30 mil? So it's also putting into context that like the money actually can buy you more money. So, but you're trying to save it and keep it to your pockets. That's the dumbest thing ever. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So let's switch a little bit topics here just to provide even more value. I want to ask you a question because obviously now you're at a point in your life where you're doing great, and you can probably trace back the dots and like kind of how it all unfolded. But for somebody who is just starting, like they're like, oh, I'm trying to make money online, like what's some practical advice? Like, be honest, where do you think that they should begin?
I think first things first is just definitely invest more into the belief that you deserve more. I think most people are, based on their environment, they will kind of like get convinced and sold in the idea that, oh, you shouldn't desire more, you shouldn't be dreaming, you shouldn't dream big. Or even if people are supporting you in your dream, in your big dreams, they actually are not necessarily like pushing you into them. They're saying like, oh yeah, good job, I really believe in you, but they're never going to tell you like, hey, quit your job. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think step number one is every morning remind yourself that you deserve more and that you deserve better and that you're meant for more. What that will do is it will literally automatically start leading you to paths where you start watching these videos. And maybe you start seeing people who are doing something. You're like, oh, I could do that too. If this guy can do it, why can't I do it? And then you'll start getting the courage to be able to invest time and money. But it all stems from that belief. If you believe you deserve more, you're going to start taking actions that match that belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
So find someone who has a skill. It could be the most ridiculous thing ever, but find someone who's making money. It could be you, it could be me, it could be anyone. Start following them. If they put out a product or a service, buy it. Sell everything you have. Literally, like, go broke. Like, because you're already broke anyway. What you got to lose? Your $5,000 in your bank account? Your 10 grand? Like, what's that? That's not going to take you anywhere. Go broke investing in yourself. Buy the thing. What that's going to do is it was going to put you on a path of like, maybe the first thing you buy is not going to work out. You're going to be like, fuck, okay, now I have a problem. Goal number one is get fucking problems, right? Get on a path where you have problems, where you have obstacles. Cool. Then now figure out how to solve those problems, right? At some point, you'll start making money, right? It could be agency, it could be drop shipping, it could be maybe you're a TikTok influencer, or you're a TikTok creator, or maybe you're finding UGC creators. Then you're going to plug them with brands and things like that. Find anything, right? Now, this journey that you've just acquired also becomes valuable to someone else. Your experience becomes an asset, right? You can keep doing what you're doing, the skill that you acquired, or you can prioritize your experience and help people transition through that experience too, right? So, but I would say, believe more in yourself, invest in something, in someone, acquire their skills, spend a lot of time learning, and face as many problems as you can. Like, deal with as much bullshit as you can. Because for me, I have this belief that every time I deal with a problem, I get an opportunity to make money. Because everybody else is going to deal with the same problem. And who are they going to, would they rather go through the bullshit, or would they rather trade money to avoid the bullshit? Everybody who has money is always going to rather not have to do things. People are lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I like to deal with as many obstacles as possible, because then it stacks how much value I can provide to someone. And then I can go back, document all the solutions, and then build a team, go implement these solutions for my clients, and then you start making millions.
That is such a powerful mindset, bro, because in any journey for any business, you're going to encounter a million problems, and people are so afraid of that, but in reality, they should almost be grateful for that. Because it creates opportunity. Like you said, thinking of your bit of your experience as an asset. I love that. That's so powerful.
Yeah, it's super, super important. I think that's how, for me, that's how I keep my sanity and I don't go crazy, because sometimes, man, business is hard, like, and the more you win, the harder it gets. I think a lot of people think that just because you're in a penthouse, you're making money, that you've made it. I actually think, well, it's not I think, it's I know that my life today is, I deal with more stress than I dealt with before. But it's just that now I'm accustomed to it, I'm used to it, and I actually expect it. So then it's not really a big deal. I still go to sleep at like a baby, but you gotta embrace stress. You gotta embrace problems, because that's the only way for you to get free, a little bit of freedom.
Mm-hmm. I love that, man. I think that's a great place to wrap it up. You know, we've been going for 45 minutes, which is amazing. This was such a great conversation. Exactly what I wanted it to be. So very happy that you came out here, bro. Where can people find you?
Just my YouTube channel, Serge Gatari. Just check it out. And then my Instagram, same thing, Serge Gatari on Instagram. And yeah, guys, just, the only advice I would give is just believe that you deserve more. And even if you're already successful, if you're already making like $1 million a year, why stay at $1 million a year? Like, you deserve better. Like, come on, like, step your game, right? Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Amazing, man. All right, well, everybody, have a great rest of your day. See you soon.